Hey, it's John Lee Dumas of EO Fire, and it's The Entrepreneurial You, the show for dedicated and passionate Caribbean entrepreneurs seeking daily inspiration, brought to you by author, speaker, and award-winning entrepreneur Heneka Watkis-Porter. You must be prepared to ignite.
Coming up on this episode of The Entrepreneurial You.
To everybody listening, I want to encourage you to see that aspiration of who you can become, because each one of us today can become more than we were yesterday, and tomorrow we can become even more.
Welcome to The Entrepreneurial You, the podcast for passionate and dedicated entrepreneurs and wannabe entrepreneurs who are seeking inspiration. I'm your host, Heneka Watkis-Porter. Today's episode is brought to you by Busine. My peak performers, are you looking for a space that fosters a peaceful and productive environment for writing and multifaceted creative expression? Then Busine is the place to be. Psst. Can you keep a secret? Something very exciting is coming soon. We are in the middle of planning one of the best virtual conferences and expos in history. It's going to be in September, so stay tuned for more info coming soon. So be sure to check out the Entrepreneurial You Facebook group and keep checking HenecaWatkis-Porter.com for updates. Leave me a voicemail also on the website. Just click on the tab to the middle right of the screen, or you may just send me an email at HenecaWatkis-Porter.com. You may just get a special shout out. Who knows? Peak performers, you know we have the most amazing guests on the Entrepreneurial You, and today is absolutely no different. Our guest today, named by Inc. magazine as one of the top business podcasts to listen to in 2017, is host of Conscious Millionaire, a podcast and naturally syndicated radio show heard by over 10 million listeners in 186 countries. He is a speaker, coach, best-selling author, Huffington Post columnist, and founder of ConsciousMillionaire.com and the First Million Academy. His global company provides coaching and masterminds for both small and mid-sized businesses that want to make a big impact and big profits. He is also featured in the upcoming movie Rise Up and holds graduate degrees in 3 areas: business, psychology, and law. I'm supercharged with excitement as I welcome JV Crum III to the Entrepreneurial You. Welcome, JV.
Hey, Heneka, and listen, hello to everybody who's listening today. We're going to have such good content on this, and I am so excited that you've joined Heneka and that I'm a guest on the show. So thank you so much.
My pleasure to have you. Before we get into the meat of the matter, I have a fun question for you, right? So,
okay.
If you had to eat a worm, how would you cook it?
How would I cook it? I would saute it in butter. And I'd put a little bit of garlic and, what does a worm need? Maybe some rosemary, sauteed worm in butter with a little bit of garlic and rosemary.
Before we get into our conversation too, I want you to share your social media handles with us, JV.
Sure. Well, it's pretty easy. My name's JV Crum, so that's JV like joint venture, Crum, CRUM, and LinkedIn's the place that I tend to live. I deal with business owners that are established, coaches, consultants, typically 6 figures that want to get to their first million. And I'm also on Twitter at JV Crum. And I'd love to have you follow me there. That's where our show sends out about our guests that we have on Conscious Millionaire, and Facebook. So if you're an established business owner, coach, or consultant, then I'd love to have you connect with me.
So today we're going to be talking about reaching our highest potential. Your book, The Conscious Millionaire, Grow Your Business, is a #1 bestseller on Amazon. What inspired you to write Conscious Millionaire?
Well, it really is kind of the inspiration of Conscious Millionaire that I was looking for about 3 years, to asking and going camping and doing sweat lodges and all kinds of different things, and really asking, why am I on the planet, and how can I take the talents that I have and what I've accumulated in terms of skills and put them to use to make this a better world and to help other people. And I literally was in a hot tub skiing Lake Tahoe for the winter, and I had picked up a brochure about a green festival, and I looked down and saw the word conscious. And in my forehead, I saw Conscious Millionaire. And I said, and got a little tingling in my spine. And I said, oh, that's it. That's what I've been looking for. So the inspiration for the book was really having an aspiration to teach people a path for how they could make their first million that was spiritual, that was socially conscious, and that would fulfill them. So that when they got there, because what happened to me is I got there at 25 and I had the 4-story home and the Mercedes, and it was great because I grew up with no money. But when I got there, I felt empty because I had not gotten the fulfilling and meaning part of it all. And so I put all those together so that as you build your first million, you get there, you reach your millionaire status, and you're fulfilled and feel like you're doing something that matters.
So essentially, you're asking a question which seems to be a question that everybody asks at some point or another, and that's, why am I here?
Yes, right. I think that's core to the business that you choose to build.
What does it mean, though, to be a conscious millionaire outside of being alive? What does that mean?
Well, there are 3 different ways we could look at conscious. One is awareness. So awareness includes what's the best client for me to work with? What's their top problems? What's the solution that I can best provide them? How does this mechanics of business actually work? How do I market? How do I do selling? All of that's part of awareness. Then the second part of conscious is visionary. So think of Steve Jobs, where he connected to a bigger vision of what we could all do in terms of how we might communicate with one another, and there comes the iPhone. And so that's the visionary leader of connecting to a bigger idea about what the world can be. And then the third part is being socially conscious, caring that all your stakeholders, everybody that works with you, your suppliers are winning, that you're being fair in all of your dealings with other people, that you're focused on how do I uplift my client, transform them, and create a better world by creating a change in my clients that really matters.
As we are in business, 3 things that we need to consider, and I normally boil it down to the 3 P's: people, products or service, and profits. And based on what you've just said, is that being conscious, and I'm recapping, being conscious is that we need to be, 1, aware, we need to be a visionary, and we need to also be socially conscious.
Yeah, I really think when you kind of step back and look at it and you go, does this resonate with me? Is this who I want to be in the world? When you talk about, focusing on producing at your highest potential, well, that's really what we're talking about here at Conscious Millionaire, is how can you become the best version of yourself today and tomorrow become an even better version? So it's always evolving yourself. And as you evolve yourself and transform, you're transforming your business and you're transforming your clients, and always moving in an upward trajectory.
Why are you so passionate to help these 6-figure service businesses and coaches reach their first million? You are so evangelical about it. Why?
I think it's because I grew up in a family. There were about 200 people out in a little town. You can call it a town. Had a name, and but nobody had any money. And I was well trained because my parents were fairly strict and conservative, and they also didn't want to be embarrassed in the grocery store. So I was really taught not to ask for the candy bar. We actually didn't have that kind of money. And at 5, I said, one day I said, I don't think this is how I want to live. What's the answer? Well, why don't mommy and daddy have any money, right? And I said, oh, I know, I'll grow up and be a millionaire. So it seemed like a logical answer, right, for a little kid. And at 25, I got there. And I can tell you that making your first million, I've made, actually close to about 30 million since then. But making that first million is a game changer. All of a sudden, I could have a beautiful home. I could drive the Mercedes. I could go to Europe on vacation. I didn't have to worry about the things that my parents had to worry about. And I could focus on living my life the way I wanted, making a bigger contribution. But that first million really is such a big game changer for people. They can send their kids to college. They don't have to worry about their retirement. All those pieces come together for them. So I know how important that is in a person's journey, and I want to help them get there.
And some entrepreneurs, they reach their first million and they continue to thrive and do very well, while so many others fail. Why do you think that happens, JV?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. That's why I wrote a whole chapter in my book on financial freedom, is that the skills that it takes to get to that first million are actually quite different than the skills it takes to sustain it and continue growing. And oftentimes people don't develop those skills. So they get to that place and let's say they get to their first million, but they don't have good spending habits. They don't have good saving habits. They don't have good investment habits. And so they're really not focused on the things that are going to allow them to then take and turn that into a lifetime of prosperity. That's a different set of skills.
And managing your resources, whether it be your time or your money, is actually quite important, not just for you to get to a particular place, but to maintain it while you are there.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I agree with that.
Right. And I want to ask you, we're coming up to a break. But before we go to the break, here's what I also need to find out from you. How can a 7-figure business quickly double revenues and profits?
Yeah, this is all about scaling. So I have a 5-step process, and the 5th step is really how you're going to double, triple, 10 times your business. And that all comes down to having the right systems in place and knowing where your real high profit revenue is coming from so that you can focus on that and scale it up quickly. Because once you have your systems working, then if you know how to bring a prospect in, you have a system to take them through steps that lead to that first sale, and now you have that pretty much automated. Now it's just a matter of having more of the right traffic coming through, and you can double and triple your business very quickly.
Peak performers, you've heard JV. It's all about the system. Let's take a break. Peak performers, success is something that we gradually work towards as an end goal, but we need to be in the right environment to make it happen. Bookophilia is dedicated to providing a space for book, coffee and tea lovers, creatives, educators, students, and professionals who want ideas, innovation, and inspiration. They have a variety of high-quality books, a cafe, events such as book launches, signings, and art exhibitions, and professional services uniquely tailored to your needs, culture, and taste. Their environment provides for the full literary arts experience, allowing for multifaceted creative expressions. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Bookophilia. Welcome back. We're talking with JV Crum III of ConsciousMillionaire.com, and we were talking earlier about his book, Conscious Millionaire, Grow Your Business, which is a #1 bestseller on Amazon. Welcome back, JV.
Well, Heneka, thank you very much. And listen, hello again to everybody that's listening. I'm so glad you've joined us today.
What is a big impact vision?
Well, a big impact vision is one that it comes from within you, and there are really 3 elements to it. But the big picture, before I tell you those elements, is it's the core of your business, and it's where a lot of entrepreneurs fail to get that aspiration so that they really move forward and do something big. Because typically, especially at the earlier stages, a lot of people are just focused on how do I put money in the bank. And putting money in the bank is critical. But if that's your whole focus for building your business, it's very difficult to build a great business that way, because that's not the core of a great business. Every great business I know anything about, if you think about Apple and how they've built their business, or Elon Musk, I mean, right now I've invested in Tesla because I really believe in what he's doing, is every great business starts off with a core vision of something bigger, and it has actually nothing in and of itself to do with putting money in the bank. It's about creating a particular experience and transformation for the clients. And so when you start thinking about, well, what's my big impact vision? And by impact, you're impacting your customers. And by impacting your customers, you may also be impacting the world, or you may be solving a problem like how to have drinking water. So your core of your business may be solving a worldwide problem or a social problem. So that can be your vision. But you start off with looking at what is something you are just passionate about. And by something, I mean a specific activity. And now I'm going to give you, you're probably going to want to journal about this. But in the passion area, there are really 3 clues about what's that deep passion. And we all have a deep passion inside of us. So the first clue is that you really become one with it. When you do that activity, you lose all track of time. You think a half hour passed and it was 4 hours. Secondly, you really have a state change. Now, I call that state immense joy, but you may have a different name for it, but it's a very positive emotion. And in fact, you've probably had people after you've been doing this activity say, wow, you look different. And you know what you do? Your musculature is different. The blood's flowing through your veins differently. And you have this positive energy that's just exuding. And you've walked in a room and seen somebody who had that same kind of energy coming out of them. And then third, you've probably done this activity to help people for free. And that's a big clue. So you've got to be doing something you love so much that you do it for free anyway. And the great thing is that because you're so talented at it, that this is what you can charge your highest rates for. And you can charge the highest rates because you get the biggest transformation and give the most value. Then the second part is purpose. Now, I spent a long time figuring out my purpose because I didn't have a process. But once I discovered it and worked with a lot of clients, I've got a very simple process. And it never takes me more than 2 or 3 sessions with someone to get them to a deep purpose. But here's the clue. Your purpose is like a gold coin. And once you've discovered that gold coin, you want to have it in your pocket every day. So like every coin, it's got 2 sides. And on the front, it says purpose. But that in and of itself doesn't tell you how to discover it. But on the back is the secret. The secret, and I want to give that to you. The secret is that your purpose is always about making a difference for someone or something outside of yourself. It's never about you. It's about what you give. Purpose is about giving. It's about serving. It's about giving value to someone. Might be a person, might be an organization, could be animals, it could be the planet, but it's someone or something outside of you. And then third, and this is such a critical piece, you're listening to me today, and I guarantee you that you've got 1, 2, or 3 really core strengths. But you know what? I can almost guarantee it's hard for you to know them because it's like a fish swimming in an aquarium. Well, they are so good at swimming in water, but they don't know it, because they're just doing it naturally. So you need to ask a client, business associate, longtime friends, ask five people and get them from 2 or 3 of those categories and just say, I'm really looking to understand myself better and build my business. What do you think I do best? And you know what? By the time you talk to 5 people, you're going to begin to get a good idea. You put all that together, and you have a passionate difference that you've got a core strength, and that's not only going to tell you the impact of your vision, but it's also going to give you what are you going to focus on. Because in my case, I'm a systems guy. So all of my coaching in one way or another talks about internal systems. I work on people's mindset. I work on with people, helping them get that clear vision. I work with them on their marketing, on their execution, and on setting up all the systems in their business. All of those are systems for me. And that's why I can help people with those different areas, because they're all pieces of building systems. And when you discover what your core strength is, that's going to inform how you build your business. So that's why it's the core of your business.
So what I'm hearing from you, JV, is that we are supposed to be answering the question, how may I add value? And that's because it's all about creating value. It's all about not just finding your purpose, but even as you find your purpose, to ensure that your purpose is actually in alignment with those that you are trying to help and those that you are called to help.
Yeah, and I think that this is the right focus if you really, the irony is that it's kind of a paradox, really. You want to get to that first million, and then perhaps you want to keep building past it. You want to get to $1 million in profit, not just $1 million in revenue. Well, the direct answer is just how do I build a machine to make money? But the real bigger answer is how do I add the value that comes from within me? So I'm passionate about it. It's the value I want to be adding. And I find the people who need that value, and then most importantly, that want that value, and I give it to them in the package they want, not the package I envision. I might think it goes in a green box and they want it in a red circle box, right? So you're going to give it to them their way, but you're always staying true to your path. And that's when the magic happens.
When you talk about the 3-step formula for creating wealth, is that what you mentioned earlier?
Oh, yeah. The formula for creating wealth, there's 3 steps, and it's conscious, focused action. And if you think about what I just talked about in the Big Impact Vision, well, the Big Impact Vision really fits in that conscious piece. And the great entrepreneurs, people who reach not just millions, but millions and millions and tens and hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, they spend a lot of time at the conscious level of figuring out where do they want to go and what's the best route for getting there, and why are they focused on this number one priority over the next 30 days over all other number one priorities. And those are the people who are most successful. The entrepreneurs that skip that step and they just go, well, let's just focus on action. They're the ones who are actually least successful, because if you don't know where you're going and you don't have a plan for getting there, then all the action in the world is meaningless, because you have it's like the scarecrow in Wizard of Oz. Like if you don't know where you're going, any road's just as good as any other road.
Mm-hmm. So if you don't know where you're going, any road can take you there.
Any road can take you there. But if you've got a very specific laser focus like a pen, and that's exactly how you want to think about your Big Impact Vision. If you've got a laser focused vision, then when all these things come along that are exciting, but are distractive, you know that those aren't your opportunities, and you're able to even filter through opportunities very quickly and go, yeah, great opportunity, not right for me, or not right for me right now. And that's what happens when you're crystal clear. You consciously take time to know where you're headed, why it's important, what resources you need to get there, and then look at different paths for how you might get there before you take action. That's the best time you could spend on building your businesses, on those activities, and then only do the focused actions that will get you there and eliminate everything else. But you can't do that step of focused action until you've decided where you're going, why, what resources, and what's the best path to take.
In your book, Conscious Millionaire, Grow Your Business, there are 7 habits. If you could only choose one to develop, which would it be and why?
It would be number 4, and was actually the last one I added, because when you're writing something, you go through it so many times, and then I'd substitute different ones for number 4. And then I said, and then I finally, I wasn't happy with them, and I finally, got to the one I'm going to tell you about, and I went, oh, that's it. That's actually, the habit that defines being a conscious millionaire, and that's always do the right thing. If you always do what in your heart you really believe is the right thing, if you're always doing the right thing for your customer, if you're always doing the right thing for all the people, your employees, your independent contractors, today most of us build our businesses with a virtual team. But if you're always doing the right thing, the one that's going to be true to your values, true to that big impact vision, true to why you believe you're on earth, true to how you can be a good custodian of your business and create profits in a way that add value. If you're always doing the right thing, that kind of takes care of having to have a lot of rules, because you're really focused on doing what's right for everyone.
That is amazing. You have given us so much. We have been talking peak performers. If you're just joining in, We've been talking with JV Crum III and just what it means to be conscious and going a little deeper into his book, Conscious Millionaire, Grow Your Business. And all of us, I'm sure, want our business to grow. And if we're not yet in business, then we need insight as to what to do when we actually get in business. Now, JV, you've shared already your social media handle. I'm going to ask you to share that with us once more. And not just your social media, but also your website, how persons can get in touch with you. And in our pre-interview chat as well, you mentioned that you have a freebie for our community of peak performers. I want you to share that.
Sure, absolutely. Well, again, the handle is JV Crum. It's my name. And that if you follow us on Twitter, then you're going to get information about all our shows. We're 7 days a week. And if you go to consciousmillionaire.com, you'll see the podcast in the navigator, and you can subscribe. We have now, or at this point, we've continued to grow. We have over 12 million listeners in 190 countries now. And I'd love to have you as a subscriber. We have great interviews. And then on Saturdays, I do a Weekend Mojo. It's 10 minutes. And it's always a problem that entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants have. I give you 3 keys for how to handle that problem. And then I give you an action step. And I do all of that in 10 minutes so you can listen to it while you're going to the grocery store, running to the gym, or jogging, or whatever you're doing. 10 minutes, and it just gives you an action step to grow your business. And then the book, the full title is Conscious Millionaire, Grow Your Business by Making Your Difference. So that's the critical piece. And if you're a business owner, we work primarily with service businesses, but if you're a business owner, you're a coach, consultant, you've started that business, this is really a complete handbook for you and how you're going to get that first million. 14 chapters on the different areas you need to grow your business. And I have to say I'm proud. It actually became number 1 in 34 categories at the same time on Amazon and catapulted itself to being the number 1 book on all of Amazon, for a period of hours, which is actually long on Amazon. I think we were number 1 for 6 hours. So I was really proud of that. So I want to give that to you. If you're a business owner, coach, consultant, you really want to get to your first million, then here's the link where you can get it. And I think there's 5 questions we ask so we have a better idea of who you are. And it's consciousmillionaire.com/free book. And that's no hyphens or anything, just consciousmillionaire.com/free book. And then you also get a link sent to you in an email, and you can get my fast track training absolutely free. That was a $97 program. And so it's a $126 package that includes the digital version of the book and then this fast track training that has videos, downloads, a journal where you can do all of your coaching work that's in the book. And you can get all that absolutely free at consciousmillionaire.com/free book.
Peak performers, you've heard, right? Just run right over, grab those free stuff. It's not free really because it costs JV and his team time and everything to put it together. So that much, he did for you, just for you. So you can run right over, grab it and grow, become the millionaire that you need to be, grow to becoming the person that you need to be so that you can make that big impact. I'm taking away from this that we must always be aware, be a visionary, and be socially aware, because that is what is necessary for us to see the growth that we need to have and to always do the right thing. JV Crum III, it has been my absolute pleasure having you on the Entrepreneurial You, and I wish you all the best in everything that you do. Continue to inspire, continue to effect change.
Well, Heneka, thank you so much for having me as a guest. And again, I just want to say to everybody listening, I want to encourage you to see that aspiration of who you can become, because each one of us today can become more than we were yesterday, and tomorrow we can become even more. And if I, a little boy, in a country town with 200 people who couldn't even get a candy bar at the grocery store, could get this aspiration, I'm going to grow up, I'm going to do it, I'm going to figure it out. I know that you can as well.
Awesome. Thank you, JV. Thank you so much. That's it, my peak performers. We have, in fact, come to the end of another great show. Thank you so much for listening. From all over the world, we have Peak Performer community members in Japan, India, the Netherlands, so many islands in the Caribbean, including Jamaica, where I'm from, the United States of America, and so many, many more. I know I shouldn't have started to call names because there you are thinking, how come she's not calling my country? Just know that I love and appreciate you, okay? If you've been enjoying this podcast, please give me some more love by subscribing and rating, reviewing, and downloading the episodes in iTunes. It really means a lot when you do that. Or you may just leave a comment on the show notes page on HenekaWatkis-Porter.com. You see, the beauty of doing this podcast is that in addition to speaking with some amazing guests and connecting with you, my awesome Peak Performance community, I also get to become affiliated with some excellent products and services. For example, HostGator, they host my website and they have some great deals going on if you're looking for web solution. If you click on the link on my homepage, you can get to take advantage of these deals as well. And if you're interested in starting your own podcast, you've been hearing me podcast and you have no doubt follow several other podcasts and you have an interest in starting your own, then certainly check out Blueberry. They have a hosting promo going on. All you need to do is click on the link on my homepage, HenekaWatkis-Porter.com, and enter the promo code TheEntrepYou, TheEntrepYou. Be sure as well to check out the resources tab on my website for books and other useful resources that I personally use and recommend. I would not share something with you and recommend as a resource if I've not used it myself and can attest to the impact that it will make and it has made on me, and I know it will make on you as well. And did you know that I'm the founder of a clothing line? Yes, my very first business, Patois Apparel. If you want to check out some amazing Jamaican t-shirts and other clothing, then of course head over to patoisapparel.com. That's PATWAAPPAREL.com, patoisapparel.com. Remember, you were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. What good?